Alright guys, welcome to RC Mojo. This week I was at the Long Marston air show where I recorded some video in glorious 50 frames a second. On the PA we had good old DB Sound, who always says some wonderful things that are ripe for taking out of context, which we will be hearing some of later. First flying in the video will be the Panic team flying the Panic Bipes. A classic model, it's been around for a long time. Not sure where they originated, but you can get a foam veneer laser cut version from abbeycraft.co.uk. It's a simple design that flies really nicely. The Panic team usually do some streamer combat, or if you're lucky, they attach balloons and really go for it. If you're not into kit building, there's also an ARF version from JP. And here's some out of context words from DB Sound.
He involves the team in press-ups whilst drinking. Drinking what? Bisexual tea?
There was of course a fair amount of prop-driven 3D type flying, always great to watch. This year though, at least half of the highly aerobatic models were electric. Even DB was slightly surprised.
That's not the electric one, it's the green messages, isn't it? Electric, look at that everybody here.
They seem to make almost as much noise as the petrol models. The batteries must cost a fortune, but the electric setup is ideal for this type of flying with its instant torque. Makes for a really sharp throttle response. There was also a couple of quadcopters in the air, a racing quad which landed before I got the camera out. It was doing the usual fast passes and the odd flip while making a terrible whining noise. The other, I believe, was one of the DJI Phantoms. I'm sure it was great to see the field from the air, but watching the quad from the ground isn't the most exciting thing going. I think the best bit was how it managed to land absolutely perfectly behind this guy. Perfect alignment. Horizon were out in force as usual, this time with the Hangar 9 P3 Revolution biplanes. Designed for a 60cc petrol engine, so they'll probably be using an Evo 62GX as that's what Horizon recommend for it. Now, the thing with Horizon's flying slots is they really get the balance just right. They're there of course to try and sell models, yet you can see they're having fun showing them off. I know the previous years when they've been flying the large scale decathlons, I've been really trying to justify buying one, even though they're well out of my price range. This year I was trying to figure out how I might be able to spend the 1500 quid or so on one single model. Well, maybe one day. Actually, if there was a built-up kit version, I could probably be persuaded fairly easily. Here we have what I reckon is a Hangar 9 100cc Beast biplane, and some sort of extra of a similar size. They made very good playmates. The pilots were able to keep fairly well in sync despite the very different models. And there go a couple of the Cambrian fun fighters we're going to see later. A couple of jets next, an F-16 and a Hunter. The two furthest away. Both lovely scale models with rather good performance. I think jets are the perfect answer to the usual non-RC public's questions. It doesn't matter what you're flying, the first question is always how fast does it go, followed by how high can it go, even when flying a vintage model that struggles to get past walking pace. Jets, however, can go really fast, and they will go really high really fast too. Perfect if you like that sort of thing. They tend to get a bit dodgy at the other end of the speed envelope though. Without the prop wash running over the control surfaces, if you let the airspeed get too low, the controls get very sluggish. Or if you really push it, they won't do anything useful at all. As much as it would be a lot of fun to run a little jet engine, I think I'm going to stick to glow and electric. Next we have the kind of occurrence that made so many people head for electric. I think I'm going to run this as a time-lapse. Obviously something wasn't completely happy in there. Cold engine, unwilling to prime, not sure. The engine would give a short burst, then stop. After a few flips and some needle fiddling, he did get it running though. A nice taxi out, making the turn into wind. Yep. This time it needed retrieving, but confident it would be an easy job to restart, he had to go on the runway. More flipping. But the engine wasn't having any of it. By now, I can imagine the frustration would have been starting to build. Now he tows it to the edge of the strip and has another go. After a good few more flips, it finally starts. This time he's on the throttle straight away. There's no chance he's going to let it die this time. Now my slightly educated guess, coming from someone who doesn't have too much to do with petrol powered models, would be the air in the fuel system starving the fuel pump, assuming it's something like a Walbro carb. With many attempts and a bit of a full throttle run, it cleared the air, allowing it to run cleanly. That's my theory anyway. There's nothing like a bit of flight line discussion about someone else's troubles. Here we have Horizon again, this time with some rather large P51s. Not sure the brand, but they were electric rather than usual petrol. It's interesting the large electric models aren't all that much quieter than the petrols. A lot of it's probably the prop noise. It's hard to find a clean bit of audio without people and DB talking.
Unbelievable. I believe it, that aeroplane was actually designed to build by a man.
But the main downside, I think, was the mention of the battery packs costing £600. Not sure if it was a mistake, but that would put me off right away. Next I got my lunch, the classic cheeseburger and chips, which by the way was probably the best show food I've had in years. Not too outrageous on price, and served up in a container big enough I actually managed to walk all the way to the car without losing any of it. Nice. As I sat down, this jet-powered glider was flying around. Now this is a combination that appeals to me more than the high-speed jets. Bags of power to fool around with, but slow enough you're not constantly on the turn to try and keep it within visual range. Right, back to some glow models now, with the Cambrian Fun Fighters. They're nice little 42-inch span models designed for a 20-something glow engine, or there's an electric version too. They come with a foam veneer wing, which you can fiberglass over, and a built-up wood fuselage. They're standoff scale, so there's no compromise on performance just for looks. They go like stink, and are quite a bit cheaper than the large-scale models. And I want one. And that, I'm afraid, will have to be the end of the video. Most of the rest of the flying was the same teams going up again. Lots of great flying. Between were some younger pilots. One, if I remember correctly, was 9 years old. And considering you need a BMFA A and B certificate to fly at events now, I think that's quite an achievement. More than I was doing at that age anyway. So yeah, I'll pop some relevant links in the description if you want to see more on some of the models. If you like the video, do by all means hit the like button, and if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe. It's free after all. Bye guys.